Hello and welcome to Politics Today. I'm Farooq Vitafi. Viewers, once again we are going to talk about Maulana Fazlur Rahman's Long March or Azadi March. It has many names. It seems to have many intentions behind it as well. We are going to try to focus on all of them. But while we are focusing on it, and any time tonight Maulana might actually reach Islamabad from Lahore, we have to talk about other factors which could have worked as a snowball effect. For example, there was a major protest going on by the traders of the country. They had a tiff with the FBR and the Finance Ministry. But the great news on that front is that they finally found a solution. There was an agreement and it was signed duly today, and it was publicized as well. You can see the text on the screen. The second aspect was that maybe because Maulana is going, starting from Karachi and then is going to Lahore, and from Lahore he comes to Islamabad, that touches two strong points of two major political parties, one People's Party, the other PMLN. The speculation then was that maybe these political parties are going to lend support to Maulana's march as well. People's Party very effectively or very conveniently actually stated that it is going to support the protest in spirit but not physically, and that is what they have done. Their leaders appear on various nodal points, and there they deliver speeches and then they go back home. After that, when the rally reached Lahore, the expectation was that maybe PMLN, because it was the party which was in power only 1.5 years ago, perhaps that party will be able to contribute support to Maulana. That didn't happen either. Yesterday, Mian Nawaz Sharif was freed for 8 weeks. Despite that, there wasn't any interaction between Maulana Fazlur Rahman and Mian Nawaz Sharif either. Then one contributing factor which might actually highlight the significance or the direction this protest may take is that when Maulana reached Lahore, he was welcomed by Jamaat-e-Islami supporters. So it seems that old MMA is coming together and they might be launching their agitation. We are going to talk about these matters and what does it mean in coming days for the country. And in order to help us understand these issues, we are joined by Dr. Zubair Ghori, a senior analyst, used to be an anchor, senior analyst, used to be an anchor at PTV as well. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Next to him is Barrister Omar Azad, a legal expert, because there are certain aspects of the entire discussion that range or actually fall under the purview of legal aspects as well. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Next to him is a senior journalist, Zafar Sheikh Saab, has appeared in this program as well. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Dr. Zubair Ghori, first of all, we have been trying for quite some time to actually get to the bottom of demands that might be there. Why do you think Maulana Fazlur Rahman is agitating? It seems that he has been shifting his goalpost. First it was religion, then it was election, and now it seems to be you and I, the common people, right?
Yes. He's a politician through and through.
Okay.
And he changes his stance according to the requirements and according to the circumstances.
Okay.
And
Atmospherics.
yeah. And first he demanded the resignation of the Prime Minister. Then he said that there is some political turmoil in the country. Then he said that these elections out of which this government has been formed, they were not according to his expectations. There were some issues, although he did not recourse to any formal forum, neither Election Commission of Pakistan nor any courts in Pakistan. Right. And then the price hike and other issues. There are certain issues in the society, as there are issues in any living society. Price hike is an issue, governance is an issue which we all are facing in this country. And now he's trying to capitalize on that. But there are two perspectives to look at this thing. A is the people's right of agitation.
Okay.
And that directly relates with this conditionality that this is also my right to freely move in my country.
Okay.
So if this march,
No,
it hinges upon.
I'm very happy that you're talking about right of agitation, but I want to get to the bottom of everything that is said today, right? Like, help me understand what exactly constitutes agitation.
No, I'm just let me finish my argument. Then
No, but
there
you
will
have
be
to
an
tell
answer.
me.
There
I
will be
mean,
an answer.
should
in
I
that.
break something?
No,
Then it is agitation.
that's what I'm
Should
saying.
I stop eating? That is agitation. Should I go out and start crying out loud? That is agitation. There must be something.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Please let me complete my argument. You will get your answer. Now, there is also my right to freely move in the country.
Right.
If my right is disturbed, if my roads are blocked, if I have some problem in reaching my office, in my school, in my university, then I have a problem with this agitation, whatever it is going on. So if they are agitating and if they are coming at a certain place, which they have already agreed with the district administration of Islamabad that they will be sitting somewhere near H9 Itwar Bazaar market. So, and they are sitting there and they are protesting and then going home, I don't have any problem with that.
Right.
But if they are hinging upon, infringing upon my own rights of movement, of my activity, of my daily routine, that has been the suffering that these people of Islamabad have been facing for quite some time now. There have been a series of dharnas and all that.
Right.
Then I have a problem with it.
Right.
So we have to see on this dharna
So
or this sit-in or this march from two different perspectives. There has
Thanks
to be convergence.
Thanks to your answer, I understand what are the rights.
Yes.
And what are your rights as well, or
Yes,
your objection
yes.
to it. But I want to understand what exactly in civilized world, how exactly does
There are-
one agitate?
Yeah,
Because
there are different
Maulana, when he is going to come, previously also we saw instances when people actually went and sat where they were asked to sit. And then the problem was media won't cover them. And then they went back, came back,
Yes.
and then they blocked the roads.
Yes.
TLP, right?
Yes, yes.
And at that time, everybody started worrying about that.
Yeah.
So one has to actually define what constitutes agitation in a civilized world. But I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Let me go to Barrister Saab, and I hope that Barrister Saab will be able to help us identify and define certain things as well. Now Maulana is coming. How do you see legally or constitutionally does Pakistani state relate to any action or agitation?
Well, I think we'll have to see the background as well. You know, right before, a few days ago, the two persons, Maulvi Kafayatullah, the member of JUIF was taken into custody, and then there was another guy whose the nationality was questioned, and it was said that he's Afghan national and he should not be shown on TV and he should not be interviewed.
Yeah,
So
but with due respect, both the cases are sub judice.
Those are.
And we take care, a lot of care
True.
while talking about these matters, right?
Very, very right with that. So what we are saying is that it is their right and it is the people's right to discuss these issues and to express whatever they want.
Right.
But now
Freedom
what's
of
been happening, freedom of expression is there, which should be protected by the state as well. But right now, the things which are being done and roads are being blocked, this should also not be happening. So
Yeah,
there has to be some line.
Barrister Sahab, luckily so far the agreement that was there is holding. So we saw the press release from traffic police that they are not going to block any major arteries, save the red zone, because of course there are many valuable buildings here. So that becomes an issue, right? This time roads are not being blocked. But I want to understand, how does the constitution and law of Pakistan see the issue of agitation? I mean, is it mentioned? Is it perceived as some right? Because we assume a lot of things, right? If you ask me about freedom of expression, I will say yes, there is. But if you ask me where exactly does it lie in the constitution, I will have hard time isolating or identifying it. Do you think that our laws are very clear about these matters?
Well, laws are very clear about it, but the recently were things which are being happening. You know, PEMRA recently issuing notices again and again. Some problems are there, but I believe that you know, there should be a balance between both the things. That, you know, the road should not be blocked. People should be allowed to go to the schools and the universities. And recently, you know, I've come across the things that most of the universities will be closed tomorrow. Most of the schools will be closed tomorrow. That will, of course, create a problem for the people, especially for the children going to the schools and all that. And there are some schools which have still not issued any notification of holiday or anything.
They should
So
actually, yeah.
exactly, they should. So at least people should know, you know, how things shall be.
Yeah.
So government is also not clear about the things that what they are going to do. They've still.
I understand the government. I understand the issues which are there. Right now, I want to actually build from a scratch. So I'm trying to understand what exactly is agitation in this country, right? Because many people have come and they literally blocked our ways. We were even assaulted. I mean, I'm talking about myself, this office as well, right? But the problem is that later on what happens? How do you perceive agitation? This is an important point. If we actually can identify it, then we can take care of the issue as well. Perhaps the agitators might have some confusion. We can help them clear that out, right?
True, true.
Okay, let me include Zafar Sheikh Saab and ask him. Yes, please go ahead. You don't want me to ask you a question.
No, actually, there are so many issues have been raised, and I have also my
Okay.
strong point of view on these.
Yeah, please.
The first thing you were trying to ask about the agitation, the limit of agitation. I think maybe you are mixing up two very small or identical things: agitation and right to protest.
Okay.
Everybody has a right to protest, but
Right.
they don't have a right to agitate. I mean,
Why not?
To create a public order, to disrupt a public life.
Except you are agitating your point right now. It is also agitation.
Yeah, I'm
right?
trying to.
I am
plead.
agitating my point.
I'm trying to plead my point of view.
Okay, agitation
but
is okay.
not creating some problem,
Right.
some public unrest.
Okay.
So we have to, because in legal term there are, I mean, difference
Okay,
between
then
the
I'm
words.
going to ask what exactly
And
constitutes protest? If I'm going to protest, how can I protest?
I mean, there are different ways.
Yeah.
And every law allows people, political parties, and social groups, and they have outlined some gray areas or black areas or red areas. That you don't have to cross this line.
Okay.
I mean, for example, if I'm going to say that I have a right to gathering. And I want to gather, I mean, my
Right to
like-minded
assemble
people.
is there.
Yes,
Right to move.
right to assemble.
The movement and assembly. is there.
But it should be somewhere, some proper place, not on the main roads. Just you were telling that the main arteries, they should not be blocked.
Right.
But practically speaking, Farooq, tomorrow Islamabad is a small city. They have not too many main arteries. There are 3, 4, maximum 4, 5 arteries. And this dharna or rally is going to be held on Kashmir Highway, which is the biggest and longest one.
Yeah.
And it's definitely going to be blocked, not intentionally, unintentionally.
No, but it has alternative routes, right?
Yes, but
In the past,
the
we
number
had
of
this
people they are
problem as well.
coming in the rally, they are in at least 50 to 70,000. In according to my estimates, tomorrow they might cross 100,000 because of the local participation.
Okay.
So, and the cars, they are in thousands in numbers.
We have
so
that,
definitely we don't
Sheikh
have a
Saab,
capacity.
do we have that kind of number of support for JUIF?
Yes, I think this is
Local support
yes,
in
local
Islamabad.
support.
30,000 people.
Not all of them from
40,000,
Islamabad.
okay.
No.
Or Pindi.
They are being gathered here. I've seen people coming from different areas. Since several days, they are pouring into Islamabad and Rawalpindi to stay there to manage themselves so that they could join the protest on the 31st.
Okay.
So large number of people have been already arrived in Islamabad, and according to my estimates, it will be definitely a very good gathering tomorrow.
Okay, a big gathering, right?
A big gathering,
A
yes.
sizable gathering, but
And
how do you
arteries
see
are
it?
definitely going to be blocked
Okay,
automatically.
right. So how do you see it? Do you think that it shouldn't be the case?
I'm sorry.
Sure. Do you think that they shouldn't be agitating this way?
No, I mean, until now they have done
No,
nothing
because
wrong except Ansarul Islam. I have very strong reservation about that.
And we are going to talk about that as well. But
Yeah.
when you are talking about arteries being blocked, And then you said that they have the right to protest,
Yes.
but not to block our lives, right? Then
Yes,
you're
I
objecting
think the
to
local
this.
administration, what they made a mistake, that the place they have identified and allocated for the program is not sufficient to cater this number of people.
Okay.
That's why I'm going to say that arteries are
Sunday
definitely
Bazaar or somewhere, right?
Sunday Bazaar and adjacent area, not exactly inside, but the adjacent of Sunday Bazaar.
Right.
But the road is not that way, because on daily basis when we are traveling in the evening,
There's,
the
traffic
road
congestion.
is already blocked.
Yeah, we are going to talk about that as well. Dr. Zubair Hari has just emerged out of some deep think. Do you want to continue?
No,
start?
I just want to
Unprompted.
slightly disagree with the number. The 100,000 is a big number.
Yeah.
And we have seen some pictures and footages, although the media is not covering step by step as it used to be covered in the other dharnas. I don't want to get into that.
Right.
Or the Ehtijaj
You
marches.
mean media is not glorifying it?
Yeah, not good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. But the numbers which are being shown, the pictures are being shown on the social media, they are not in hundreds of thousands of people. They may be in hundreds, few thousand people. And once they are coming here, and some people might be here, I'm not good at numbers, but 100,000 is a huge, huge number.
Now, 100,000, this is the problem. In terms of agitation, 100,000 isn't that big a number.
No, it's a huge number.
People-
Even
when
if you
people
are on the
moving,
street, yes.
you don't know how many are there.
Yeah. So, and if they are blocking these two arteries, because this place is at the conjuncture of 9th Avenue
Yeah.
and the Kashmir Highway.
Right.
So these two arteries will be blocked. There is no issues about. Only Rawalpindi and some areas will be open, but in Islamabad that is. But my point is again, the sanity should prevail. The government has taken a good step.
Right.
Not hindering them, because these are our people. Of course, these are not aliens or these are not non-Pakistanis. These are Pakistanis and they are trying to protest their rights. And if you are giving them one day for their protest, and even if we are suffering for one day, that's okay, I can tolerate
Is
that.
it going to be only one day show?
Yeah, that's what my point is. I can tolerate that, maybe 1 day or 2 days, but not beyond that.
Okay.
I'm not going to tolerate that, because then your rights end where my rights start. It's the same philosophy of your nose ends where my nose starts.
Yeah.
So if you are trying to infringe on my nose, then I will definitely protest. Then my right of protest comes in. But the government has taken a good step and they have done an agreement and they are on a higher moral ground at this point in time. So if they are trying to break, there are some areas or concerns that are being shown that if there is a very good number, a huge number, they may try to break that. But for the moment, we must respect their intentions, that they have done an agreement. They will come here. Government is facilitating them. All roads are open.
Yeah.
They will come for 1 day.
In fact, we saw
They have a
something very
jalsa
interesting.
and then go back to their home.
We saw something very interesting in Lahore.
Yes.
The government was actually, provincial government was facilitating the protesters, right? There
That's
was
a good thing.
Not only Lahore, right from
Everywhere. They were not stopped.
Hyderabad till there. I mean,
Wow,
it's
wow.
almost 600 or 700 kilometers.
That is
If you could
astounding.
recall the agitation that was initiated in the PMLN government by Tahirul Qadri Saab and PTI, there were road blockages, there was even the incident of Model Town, there were
Yeah.
issues of beatings of the people, huge number of arrests. But this government, depending on the veracity of that muahida, of that agreement that they have done with the local JF party, they are doing this good thing. But we have to see tomorrow afternoon or maybe on the Friday afternoon that whether that promise will be fulfilled or not.
Right.
If they are not fulfilling their promise and they are breaking away from that,
if is a major if.
is a major if.
Right.
Because if
Let
the
me-
number that my colleague has pointed out, they inflate to that much number, then they might embolden them to extend it. Okay, we have got this much support behind us.
Yeah,
so the
but-
government has to be very cautious in their approach at this point. in
Most
time.
of us are people who have spent a lifetime in Islamabad, right? And
Yes.
the issue is, if the city has capacity problems, somebody has to start working on them.
Yeah.
Something keeps on happening again and
Again
again.
and again
And
and
we don't actually seek to remedy it. That becomes a problem. Barrister Saab, is there a serious chance of betrayal of trust tonight or tomorrow? That if you have agreed on something in principle, you might renege?
I think there were some news 1 or 2 days before that they have announced, the JUIF has announced that since their 1 or 2 members have been arrested by the government, so they, there were some news that they backed out from the agreement. But then I think since Maulana has announced that once they reach Islamabad, then they will tell that what's their next strategy. And it has
That's
happened
fishy.
before, if you remember, in the
Why
last.
is he doing that, by the way? What is your understanding? Why keep all the cards close to the chest?
Well, I think it has happened before. If you remember in the last Dharna, they said that they will come to Islamabad and then, like at Tahir al-Qadri time, and PTI was also there. And,
Right.
for 126 days, they were here. And even this studio or this place where we are sitting, this was also attacked by them. And if
Right.
you remember,
But
the
if
Prime
you-
Minister at that
If you're
time.
refreshing memory, I'm talking to a lawyer. And this entire tradition was started by the lawyer
Lawyers,
movement.
No,
right?
but
I don't know
lawyers
whether
movement,
you
it
were
was-
part of it or not.
None of the institution was attacked during that time. And if you remember, there is a video and there is an audio on record in which the Prime Minister, who is the Prime Minister right now, said that you have done a very good job by attacking the PTV, if you remember that.
Okay.
But none of the
again,
institution was attacked during that time, during the
yeah,
lawyers
but
movement.
in
That's
lawyers
make that
movement
clear,
time as well, there were many things. Even an incident took place today where lawyers are beating somebody, a woman actually, in public. So stuff like that also happens. Now, but the question right now is, do you see a serious chance of the other party, the protesting party, reneging on their promise?
Well, I think once they reach here, and if they get that number of people, which they say that about like 100,000, if they get more than 100,000, then I think they'll be staying here. They won't be going back. But if they are like 30,000
The
or
bigger the number,
35,000,
the chances are they are going to stay here.
Exactly, true.
If the smaller number is turns up,
Then
they're
there are
not.
chances that they will disperse, because for staying here for long would be difficult, like for few number of people, because people from Sindh will go back, from other cities they will go back, and
Okay. Barrister Saab, this agreement that we keep talking about, what is the legal worth of it?
Well, I think legal worth is something like, both the parties have agreed, and if one of the parties, like, if they say that one of the party has breached the contract, then, which they say they have breached the contract, one of the party is claiming, so the contract can be repudiated, it can be said
No,
that.
but this
it has a-
agreement was with whom? The local government of Islamabad, the provincial government, any provincial government, or the federal government?
The agreement which we have seen is between the local government,
Okay.
The deputy commissioner.
the deputy commissioner,
deputy commissioner.
and one of the
So it
representative of
wasn't
the party.
a deputy commissioner who arrested Mufti Kifayat. It wasn't a deputy commissioner who actually breached
But
the
the
agreement.
clauses
right?
of the agreement stated that they will not arrest anybody and they will let them come in. But they have
No, but the
arrested them
commissioner,
since.
deputy commissioner doesn't have the capacity to promise something that extends beyond Islamabad, does it?
True, but the
So
thing is that
technically, the agreement has to hold, right?
the agreement has to hold, but it all depends on once
In
they reach here,
Islamabad.
once
In
they reach
Islamabad.
here, and
Only
if they
in
get those
Islamabad.
number of people, and then of course they will decide whether they have to stay or.
Right. Let us war game this, Zafar Sheikh Saab. Tomorrow they show up, they are going to sit here. What happens next?
Sir, there are two aspects. Number one, politically speaking, Maulana don't have any other option left but to consolidate whatever he has achieved until now. He has lost a lot
Okay.
because he is being betrayed, or if I use the word cheated is a very negative word.
He thinks he is being cheated.
But he is being cheated by other his opposition parties like PMLN and PPP.
Okay.
So he found himself alone in the middle of nowhere, and he has also lost his bargaining position politically. But he has achieved something, and I think if he is wise enough, he will try to consolidate. He has mobilized his party. He has mobilized his workers and supporters,
Right.
and bring them out in the streets. And he's in the control of that. And he has reached to some understanding with the administration and the government as well. And they are now on the talking terms. And he's now, since several weeks, he is capturing the TV screens. He
Right.
and his, party
I
leaders.
don't know whether he is capturing the screens
Or
or
his
his absence is
Yes.
capturing the screens, but something is.
But yes, he is capturing actually.
Yeah, people keep on
So-
talking about
So
him.
he has achieved something.
Okay.
But politically
Is it going to
speaking,
be enough for him?
I think this is enough. He can't do anything more than that. And if he is wise enough, he should have gone, he should not cross the line,
Okay.
he should not cross the limits, and it should remain within the limits. I mean, but practically speaking, there are always some rooms for violation, little bit, 5,
Okay.
10, 20%.
Accidental violations might happen, but
Yes.
if you planned on doing something, that is something else, right?
Until now, Farooq, I have some conflicting reports.
Okay.
When I talked about the party leaders, they said we have no bad intention. We'll go. We'll have a public gathering, and then we will peacefully disperse. We have no bad intentions. But if we talk about some secret information, because the hype is being created too much, especially Maulana Saab,
Right.
and the 5 speeches he has made during different the
rallies,
long
right.
march and the different rallies, actually that has warned everyone.
Okay.
That's why he has lost the credibility. That's the problem. And if you remember in our previous program, I have strongly objected the way he was talking about against the Pakistani institutions, including the army.
Right.
But if he demands something from a political elected government, I mean, it is his right. No, if nobody accepts it, but he has the right to say
So
that,
what
Prime
are-
Minister, I don't want you to see as a Prime
Sheikh
Minister.
Saab, what are his demands then? You have to tell us that at least.
Sir, his demand has been kept changing.
Huh, they kept constantly, right? Where do they stand now? What is he demanding now?
Actually, his main demand was that when he will bring and reach Islamabad, he will throw the government out.
Okay.
And he claimed that it's an illegitimate government.
So it is a threat, not a demand.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
a
not
threat.
true?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a
So
threat.
demand, this has to be a demand as well, right? I'm told Senator Faisal Javed Khan has joined us on telephone representing Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Faisal Javed Khan sahab, thank you very much for joining us. Sir, what is your understanding? What are the demands of Maulana Fazlur Rahman right now?
Thank you, Patafi. Even Maulana Fazlur Rahman doesn't know what are his demands. He doesn't know. He has started the march towards Islamabad, but he doesn't know what are his demands. He's not clear about it. And that's why People's Party and PMLN, they're very reluctant to sort of join this, because they aren't even clear. Their followers aren't even clear. Why would they demand resignation from the Prime Minister of Pakistan? There should be a reason. And there is no reason. Okay, first of all, if they call it a rigging in elections, they have not even approached any forum. Election Commission, courts, Parliament, tribunal, nobody. So that's not there. Even Maulana Fazlur Rahman didn't appeal against his own elections, which he lost with a huge margin in his own constituency. So that's being rolled out. There was no rigging.
Right.
So number two, there's no clarity in his demands, and even he is not able to sort of send across a message to
Senator
the
Faisal,
followers.
does it not actually, shouldn't it worry us that the government or government's representative or the ruling party's representative is saying that they don't know what Maulana's demands are? Doesn't it mean that you won't be able to know how to handle him once he is here?
No. We have no worried. We are not worried at all.
Right.
They can come.
If tomorrow he comes and
in democracy.
he stages a sit-in for endless time, he is going to stay here for long, or perhaps somebody is going to start a resort to violence. There has to be some kind of mechanism to find out how to deflate this situation. Is it not true?
Well, two things. There's the order of Supreme Court and also an order of High Court as well. That if you want to protest, okay, there has to be a specified area where you can come and you can protest, and that's the democratic right. They can come and protest. That's not a problem at all. And the other thing, important in Islam is that when you sign an agreement, and that written agreement, when you make that agreement, you have to respect that, and you cannot you cannot disrespect it, and you cannot break any law in it. So the problem is right now, we want them to come. That's not a problem at all. They can come. They can protest. They can sit there 1 day, 2 days, for how many days they want to sit. They can sit in a specified area, and they can, address the rally or whatever. But the moment they cross their limits, the moment they break the agreement that they signed, that's going to be a problem for them, because, saving the lives of common citizens of Pakistan is the responsibility of the state, and that needs to be ensured. So they're most welcome, and so far so good. They're marching towards Islamabad. I don't want to debate on the number, because this usually is the job of Parvez Rashid, ex-minister of PMLN, who would count chairs and all. That's not our job, but how many numbers are, that's not a problem at all. But they come, there's a specified place, they can sit, they can address the rally and put up their demands or whatever that is. That's not a problem. So the entire protest has to be handled very peacefully. So this is a surety that they have given, and the government is also sort of backing them up in this whole thing.
Right. That actually builds confidence that the government wants to handle it peacefully. Thank you very much, Senator Faisal Javed Khan. Let us come back to the studio. Before I go to Zubair Hori Saab, I was asking Zafar Sheikh Saab the very same question. One has to know what are the demands. And when you say that the Prime Minister should resign, it makes no sense. Never happens and will never happen.
You're right.
What else is there that Maulana might seek to get out of this, apart from television attention, more eyeballs, the message being carried on the airwaves?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I think, yes, he is not in a position to demand anything
Okay.
or force anything, because,
You are saying he got whatever he wanted
he already got and
by
nothing else, and he is going to consolidate that. That's all.
Zubair Hori Saab, do you agree with this, sir?
Well, there is a taste of the pudding, and we can't decide on the taste unless we eat it.
Yeah, but
Let them come first.
But here's the problem. We are not tasting the pudding for the taste only. Whether we are tasting it, whether it is poisoned or not.
No, I'm just.
So what happens if it is poisoned?
No, I cannot say anything about it, whether it is poison or not. Even if it is poison, then we have a conclusion. So
Very expensive conclusion.
Yeah.
Right at the cost of my life.
Let me give you the Jacob's method of counting the people, how many people are there.
Okay.
That is internationally acclaimed method. They say that
calculate the area.
Yeah, they have calculated
Covered
it.
area.
That at 10 people per square meter, that means we can fit 1,000 people in a 10 by 10 meter square.
Okay.
54,000 people can fit in an American football field.
Okay.
And just listen, 26 million people, about the population of Scandinavia, can fit into 1 square mile.
Okay.
So if we are claiming that they are occupying around a 1 square mile area, so it means that it is 26 million people.
That is not going to happen.
Okay.
That is
so
not going
I am going by this 54,000 estimate,
Okay.
even if they are going to occupy
Right.
that. So we have this habit of claiming tall, it's a million march, 10 million march, and multi-million march. This is
Right.
not going to happen.
Yeah, whatever it is.
The number is.
Hang on. My
the number
problem
matters.
and your concern is that if your and my lives are going to be disrupted, that is the biggest problem for us, right?
No. The number does matter, because they claim that we have come with 1 million people, and they are sitting here and they are claiming that, and government saying that there are only 10,000 people.
Do we
So
have
there is a
any-
whole huge difference.
do we have
so we can
number-
easily calculate those numbers,
Zubair
that how
Hori
many
Saab,
people are with them.
Right, sir. Zubair Hori Saab, do we have any understanding of how many people study in seminaries that are run by Maulana Fazlur
Yes,
Rahman
we have.
alone?
We have the number.
How many people?
We have the number. I don't have the exact number.
A little bit more than around 2 million.
Around 2 million.
2 million.
Yes.
2 million.
Right.
But everybody is not coming.
Not everybody.
No, that is true. But,
But
my
even
point
if-
was not that they
Even
will
if-
come. My point was that even if they come, it is not big news. The
No, it is a big
biggest
news.
news for me is life's disruption.
No, it's a big news. If big number of people come onto the street, it's a big news. It's a news value that this much number of the people are on the street. There must be some reason, some cogent reason behind it. Whether you disagree with them or agree with them.
Every 2 years, our media does this repeatedly.
That's
Somebody
where it
comes
is.
and agitates, and we continue to count people where it
That's
doesn't
where it
matter
is.
in the election.
That's where it is. People claim according to their own strength. They say that we are 1 million, but we have a formula. give or take 5%,
Yeah, but
10%.
my
So we can
concern-
easily say that these are not the people who are here, and if there are really this much huge number of 1 million people on the streets, then you cannot simply ignore them. This is a news value.
Yeah, even
cannot
50,000
You
people,
cannot
if
ignore
they are
them.
very committed,
Yes.
can wreak havoc,
Yes,
right?
yeah, they wreak havoc.
This is what I'm trying to
So-
submit here. That the actual newsworthiness, you can talk about numbers.
No, even if they
but
don't.
the newsworthiness lies in the fact that they
if they,
can or
what
they
if,
don't.
What if there are
disrupt
1
life.
million people and then they don't wreak havoc? They are very peaceful.
Okay.
They are standing somewhere. Even if that is a big news for me as a
Right.
news value.
Yeah, but it won't be
The
covered
second
that
point,
way.
the second point I'm saying, I'm a student of conflict management. Whenever you have a conflict against the other party, you always keep the stakes high. So they have taken the highest stake in Prime Minister's resignation. They might agree on something way lower than that.
Like what?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know. I can't read his mind at the moment because he keeps on changing his goalposts.
okay.
I don't know what he is claiming at the point, but he has taken the highest claim that he could have.
The highest he could get during the governments which are more amenable was Housing Ministry. to
Or a
one of
Kashmir
these
Committee
mi-
chairpersonship.
Chairpersonship of the Kashmir Committee.
Yes.
And then also something very significant, opposition leadership at times, right? That was the highest he could go, or a provincial government to his party, MMA. Is it the kind
Neither,
of
neither does he have the capacity at the moment.
yeah, but
Neither of it.
But
because he's not in the
unlike
substantially
PTI
represented in the parliament of the provincial assembly.
Barrister Saab, since you actually invoked this example of PTI, PTI was demanding something very concrete, re-election or recounting on 4
Specific,
constituencies, right?
four.
Why is Maulana, if he is worried about this issue of rigging, why is he not giving any finite demand?
I think he has given demand of the resignation of the Prime Minister. And secondly, he has in one or two of the press conferences stated that there should be re-election, and he has also stated that
National re-election,
national re-election.
without actually studying what went wrong, if something went wrong.
Well, I think there are some of the things, at 12 o'clock in the midnight of that day on 25th of July, on that election day, results were stopped, and some system which was some, like RTS system or something that stopped working. Something really happened over there, and I think that was
No,
not proved.
do you
and
have a mobile, sir, with you right now?
I do have.
Does it hang up at times?
Well,
Does it stop working?
But
These
the-
are machines, right? I mean, I can, of course, in a post-truth society, I can keep on talking about things which cannot be explained, right? But if you want to actually implicate somebody, you need a smoking gun. And to do that, you have to demand something first. Like PTI was demanding that there should be some kind of investigation into 4 constituencies. That would have solved the problem. At least a smoking gun would have been there. This time, Maulana is not asking for any smoking gun, is he?
I think he has stated that once he reaches Islamabad, and then he will tell the next strategy, what it is. But since you asked about the demands of Maulana, first of all is the resignation of the Prime Minister, and second thing is the re-election in the country. I think this is what so far.
That means that he is demanding that the government goes
government
and the parliament goes, right?
Parliament goes.
And that he gets something out of it
Well,
in
I-
the re-election.
in-
I'm
in the
coming to you,
re-election,
Sheikh
yeah.
Saab. But these are, unlimited demands. PTI might have demanded something like this when they came here, or people before them, but it never happens. So this can't be the first or last demand of Maulana. He must be asking for something concrete.
I think since he has said that once he reaches Islamabad, and then he will tell what his demands are. But for now,
Just to remind you, before the election, there were 2 or 3 issues which were very close to Maulana. For example, the decision in FATA of merging it with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, that was something very close to his heart. Do you think that he might demand something like a reversal of that decision?
I think Maulana's top priority for now is the re-election. And for
That
now,
would happen, right?
for now, I think FATA or any other thing, I don't think that from this
Right.
assembly he would
Sheikh
demand
Saab.
anything.
That is irreversible. The merger of FATA is irreversible.
Right.
No matter somebody likes it or not.
Irreversible, is it in the 6th schedule of the Constitution?
No, it's a part of the Constitution now.
No, that is true.
With 21st Constitution
No,
Amendment.
but usually it happens that whatever you put in the under the rubric of 6th schedule,
No, I
that
don't
cannot be
remember. I
touched
think
for 10
Barrister
years.
Saab can say that.
Everything else is negotiable.
We are talking about the re-election demand of Maulana.
Yeah.
What happened just 10 days back in Larkana? The Maulana, which is now closely cooperating with PPP, and PPP is closely cooperating with them.
Supported PDI as
Maulana
candidate.
supported People's Party's against candidate GDA, and the Abbasi Saab was win. And that's why it gave a big blow to People's Party, and inside People's Party, so many of their leaders, they started criticizing their leadership that why you are going to support Maulana because he opposed and he managed to, defeat our candidate.
Yeah.
So, secondly, until now, their rally started from Karachi. Now they are going to be reached sometimes now in Rawalpindi.
Right.
1500 kilometers. Peaceful. They are well organized. They are because they are not just common public.
Okay.
They belongs to some mindset. They are the one who have accepted the narrative of Maulana, whatever he is giving. I have very strong reservation, a very strong opposition of Maulana's narrative. But they have shown their organization, their structure, they have shown their muscle.
Okay.
So until now they are peaceful, and if they remain peaceful for tomorrow and
No, but
conclude
there's,
this show.
Sheikh Sahib, there are two things which are confusing me, right? One argument that you gave was that Maulana got whatever he wanted out of this, right? That means whatever he's going to do next is improvisation.
Definitely.
He is just going to make it as he goes along, right? The other thing that was hinted at earlier, that he is keeping his cards very close to the chest and something can go awry. That actually should worry everybody. Right?
I think there are many people who are worried about that, but I think he has nothing left to show. He has no secret card left. Whatever he had, he has already shown, and those cards have already been sold out by somebody else.
Right. I'm told that we are left with 2-3 minutes. Zubair Wari Sahab, your conclusion.
I think their procession is on its way, and the government has taken very cogent steps, and they are playing very sensibly. And let them come. They will come here, and they will agitate maybe for a day or two, and they should be allowed to then disperse.
Okay.
And if they
Allowed to disperse.
Yes.
No, the government is not going to allow
to
them
disperse
to
and
disperse.
go home.
Okay.
And
They will go
peacefully,
home
they will
when
go
they
home.
want to, right?
But if they try to extend it and they try to disrupt the life,
Yeah.
because there is it will be followed by the weekend,
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday, that people usually remain at their homes or go to their relatives in a very limited period of time.
And this is the month of Rabiul Awwal.
But this is the month of
Up
October.
till 12th
Yes.
is the religious phase
Yes.
where you can
Yes.
still stay here
Yes, still
and
stay.
celebrate it.
Yeah, but I think if they go beyond 2-3 days, then the government should take action, and they should be asked, or maybe there's certain different rounds of negotiations with them, that you have made some promises and you have to fulfill your promises, and the government should take action to make them go back home.
You know, somebody has to actually look at another possibility. These agitations, like PTI came, I mean, they had their DJ, and a lot of money was, offered and accepted by the performers. At that time, I thought that maybe the government or state of Pakistan can create some permanent arena where people might come,
They
book
thought
it,
about it, yeah.
book it,
Yeah, thought about it.
pay the
parade
government,
ground, yeah.
pay the state, stay there as long they want to, and then go away.
Yeah.
Barrister Saab, your conclusion.
My conclusion is that I think for now, at least, the only thing which is dangerous for the government is its own style of governance, its own economic condition, economic situation. If
Right.
they do not improve it, I think then it is dangerous for them. Otherwise, I think
Maulana poses no threat.
for now at least, I
Right.
think they won't. be any-
Sheikh Saab, your take.
Yes, Maulana is not in a position to create any serious threat against the government,
But against the common man?
but he can create a problem against the government.
Yeah, that becomes a problem because I don't know about you guys, but I am literally a common man, and it becomes really hard for me when such things happen. But let us hope in coming days situation improves. Zafar Sheikh Saab, thank you very much for your time. Barrister Umar Azad Saab, thank you very much for your time as well. Dr. Zubair Khori, you are a colleague also. Always enjoyable having you here in this program. Viewers, you have listened to our participants. We have to wait and see what exactly is going to transpire. But as things stand right now, it seems that things are within control. Let us hope things continue to be that way. Otherwise, of course, situation can be complicated. We have seen that also in this country. But regarding money or the profit, if we have such places which can be hired by protesters, then perhaps one can also profit. The state can profit as well, because these things are going to continue. And actually, Donald Trump's idea of making a profit, he said that in fact he can run for office when, and he can even profit by it. So, even as he runs. So I thought that maybe we can see something positive even in the most difficult or challenging circumstances. This was today's program. Thank you very much for watching us. Take care.